simulation of a pandemic, or maybe this is a way that like an AI gets polished. Like maybe we're an AI that's being like polished and taught through this process of having a limited incarnation. You got to have that so that there's a reason for us to actually invest ourselves in stuff. Like if we were gods, if we lived for 1,000,000 years, eventually we wouldn't have such a passionate relationship, I think, with the world, anyone who's going to. So you need that to train the thing up so it takes it seriously. You have to put the setting on mortal. Then maybe you just run a series of tests on the thing. You know, you start what is this? What have we made? What does it do in a pandemic? And by it, I mean the sum total of all humans, which is right now disconnected. It's like a malfunctioning brain. You know what I mean? We're not connecting. But if we were being like sort of, I don't know how you put it, groomed, evolved intentionally, then every single moment in an individual's life and in the life of history could be looked at as a training or an upgrade. This could be an operating system upgrade. This could be what an operating system upgrade looks like in the biocomputer that we exist in. It looks like a fucking pandemic. And that's what's happening right now, is we're being like upgraded for some reason, even though it's terrifying and obviously horrific, you know? We're being upgraded. And anyway, the whole point is, man, this thing that we're in right now, whether or not there's a God, I think an atheist gets to lean into the idea that when they close their eyes and breathe their last breath, it stops. And I just think that's a big gamble, man. And I don't mean because you go to hell. I mean, how nice would that be?
Yeah.
If it just stopped. When more than likely it's, you know, at least in this Tibetan yoga of dreaming and sleep, more than likely what happens is way before you actually die, when you get really sick, you already start waking up into your next life. You just like go through a weird dream-like state called the bardo, where you freak the fuck out, and then you're suddenly alive in another being, completely oblivious to whatever your past incarnations were. And that's what we're in right now. So, you know, I don't know, this is a great time for people to start, you know, looking at that and preparing for that. We didn't prepare for the fucking pandemic. We didn't prepare. Some of y'all did, I'm sure, but I didn't.
There's a few preppers out there listening and going, yeah, I was ready, man.
I know you guys did it. Congrats.
I was ready, man.
You were right. Congratulations. I've got fucking hummus and strawberries and some like, but I think that like also preparing for like the authentic apocalypse, which is when you kick the fucking bucket.
Yeah.
Because the idea is, you know, and this, feel free to light the goddamn sage again. But the idea is,
demons be gone.
Thank you. The idea is that you can actually like navigate through that bardo state. You can have a little bit of lucidity instead of sort of dying and like freaking out because it's a hallucinatory state. You could actually have a kind of like, I don't know, focus through it and control your next incarnation. So
yeah, we just have to figure it out. That's the thing. And when you're young, particularly if you're young and you don't have a lot of guidance, which was me when I was younger, when one thing gets too big, is in too much power, there's no longer a struggle to survive. It's reached some stagnant point biologically in some sort of weird way. And also maybe even without, for lack of a better word, spiritually stagnant, right? I mean, some people are breaking through and realizing who they are and their connection to other people. But globally, God, there's a lot of people that are sleepwalking out there, sleepwalking, hypnotized by technology and society. And this is their big wake up call right now. What if all this, even materialism, right? Even our obsession with technology, maybe, like if you look at all the systems that exist in the universe, and particularly all the biological systems that exist on Earth, some of them are so spectacular, you're like, what? What happened here?
Yeah.
How did they do this?
Yeah.
Like, have you ever seen like leafcutter ants when they take their buildings and they pour cement in them and they realize there's these fermentation chambers and they ferment the leaves in there. There's air holes out to the earth and there's all these fucking tunnels and there's this crazy elaborate city structure that's created by these ants. Well, there's all these systems that take place all over the earth. For if there's too much plants, then these
Majesty.
we are all one, Duncan.
I know.
Yeah, if we were all one, but we just have to get rid of some of our laws. Other people are not going to accept our laws.
Right.
Okay, we just got to tighten that up a little bit, and we can have one ruler.
I mean, so fucking weird, dude.
You know what's really crazy, man? Think of this: if technology really did have an effect on the programming of human beings, and if you it's innovation. Someone had to figure that out, and imagine creating an ape that is aware of its environment. Like, this is like really the perfect storm. Aware of its environment, but obsessed with itself. Knows in the back of its head that it's temporary, that it's got a finite lifespan, but lives like it's gonna live forever, and lives in the moment, and wants to acquire things. Like, it seems the number one goal for the uber wealthy or the uber successful, the Jeff Bezos types characters, right, who are on the top of the food chain financially, they want to acquire things. Yeah, they're always acquiring things, which means people have to make things, which means they're a big consumer as well as someone is making a shit ton of money. Right. And this also fuels innovation, because you got to keep up with these people. Got to keep giving them bigger and better things every year. So all these resources go into innovation of technology. It's the thing that progresses quicker than anything. Right. Look at cell phones. Every year, I need a 150 megapixel camera, or you're a loser. Yeah. You're a loser. Yeah. You know, these fucking Samsung phones that have like 7-inch screens now, everyone's going crazy, right? Right. But what is the goal, though? The goal is to make better shit. And the goal along the way of like, this goal is it's working, but it'd be even better if we made it so they don't touch each other anymore. Maybe if we could come up with a disease where they can't shake hands, they don't come close. Right. And just keep them a little further apart from each other. It'll make them more interested in the things, more interested in the technology, more separate from each other, and encourage technology that connects them with each other. So through technology, they'll find this human longing for contact that they've been missing in their life. They're going to get an emulated version of it. But that emulated version of it is just going to keep getting better, and it's going to keep getting better, and it's going to get to a point where it's better than real life, way better than real life, because you're like Jumanji. You get to be the Rock. You get to be like a superhero. Like, you could live a magical life with no boundaries of physics, and that they're going to do that. People are going to do that. They're going to give in. If I was a life form that was trying to haunt another life form and trick it into giving birth to me, I would create a person. I'd create people. We're like some fucking ant. We're like some ant that's manufacturing our successors. Yeah. That's what we are. Yeah. And we don't even know what we're doing. Just showing up every day. Look at my fucking watches. I got all these diamonds. Ching, ching, ching. Yeah. Bling, bling, bitches. My house is bigger than the Rock's. The Rock's house is this big. My house is this big. Yeah. Like, I mean, that's what people are doing. That's what we're doing. We're just buying more shit. And one good thing of something like this, anytime a tragedy happens, people bond together afterwards. It's a terrible thing that it happened, but for the victims and the family members of the victims, we all know this, but it can be a good reset for us. Sure. Economically, people are going to have to get through it. That's going to be the most difficult part. Yeah, it is. But I think there's going to be an opportunity for us to just assume a nicer stance towards our neighbors and towards our friends and towards our community. And instead of embracing this idea, like, you better get guns because they're coming, maybe we can all come together instead of that.
I think people need to find, if that's going to happen, then we've got to find a better metric for whether things are right or wrong than the news. Yes. We need something to retune ourselves. Like, right now we're tuning the guitar of our identities to like the most terrifying shit, which is the news or like what people are saying. And so and I think many people have become so accustomed to getting their idea of what's happening in reality from the TV instead of from like how they feel inside, what's going on with their friends and their family. That puts people at an incredible disadvantage because their pond is being rippled by shit I was thinking it's like what are those little, not prairie dogs? Those they stand and look around at the hawks. You know what I'm talking about? What are those things called? They're social little marmots or something like that.
Oh, okay.
There was a show like Lemur Palace. I don't remember what they're called, something, but they're
They're really cute. I see them at the zoo.
they're fucking adorable.
They're one of the most adorable animals ever.
They stand and look.
Yeah.
Somehow they ignore all the humans around them and just look in the sky for a hawk. It's
Yeah.
kind of sad, but
That's their life, though.
imagine if that one looking for the hawk had like the internet and could see hawks thousands of miles away. How anxious all of them would be, because he would always be like, get underground, get underground, get underground.
Right.
So, I think this is what has happened, is that we're all constantly being told. I mean, I remember when I was growing up in the old days, when the news had an alert, that was serious. Some serious shit went down.
Yep.
You would be, what the fuck? Fox News or any of the news stations, they have an alert like every 4 minutes now.
Yeah.
Dum, 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 alert. Dum, 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 dum.
So true. Look at it. The colors. It's
It
ridiculous.
looks like a kid's toy.
It should look like a vulture. It should be like red and black, like a vulture.
Yeah, it should definitely be black, red, lightning bolts on the side.
A nice
not-
patina, like a ward out patina, like it's just going through the battlefield, eating bodies.
Can you imagine getting eaten by a thing that looks like a Tonka
Can you
truck?
imagine if you're not quite dead and it starts chewing you feet first? I mean, how does it determine whether or not you're dead? What if you can make it? What if you're just out cold? What if you got knocked out and it's like a movie? You wake up in the battlefield. I mean, there's a bunch of movies where that happens, right?
Sure.
You guys aren't really dead. They're just badly injured. These motherfuckers.
Yeah.
There's a video right down below of us talking about it. Joe's freaked out by eater robots. This happened more than once. I'm fucking terrified of those things. Just the idea that someone made something that can eat people. Well, listen, folks, the technology that existed in like early cell phones, right? Like
Yeah.
if someone made an early Motorola phone with a camera, all that stuff got into everything now. There's so many things that can take pictures now, and so many phones that can take pictures. If they develop one robot and one like proof of concept where something could be fueled on dead bodies, you don't think other people are going to make those too? You don't think they're going to get better? They're going to get better. And then when we do go to war with the robots and there's big, giant, bulletproof metal ones just eating us.
I'll forget that. See, I just think people don't understand that. Like, there's this idea that the world leaders are just, humanists, and that the interest of humanity is the first thing they're thinking about when they wake up every day. We don't know that some of them aren't interested in the same thing every conquering warlord has been interested, which is like, maybe we could take over the planet. I wonder if there's a way. And imagine if you ended up president of the United States, or like president of Russia, president of any powerful